Okay, guys. I'm here for episode 11 of the Slams of May, the review series where we take a look at the good, the bad, the ugly, the wild, and the wacky of wrestling pay-per-views that took place in May. From the WWF, E, and WCW. Today's episode is Slamboree 1998, which took place on May the 17th, 1998, from the Centrum Center in Worcester, Massachusetts. I believe this is the same building that hosted Backlash 2003, or at least the same city anyway. We open up our opening contest as the WCW World Television Championship match. Finlay versus Chris Benoit. 2 stars here, not a bad match. I mean, I don't think it's a memorable match or nothing, but it's not like bad. Booker T comes out to distract Benoit, which is how Finlay had won the title in the first place, was off of a Booker T distraction. And Finlay eventually hits his tombstone piledriver, gets the win. 2 stars. So next we get Lex Luger versus Brian Adams. Nothing here. This really is a nothing match. Luger wins with the torture rack. That's really all I need to say. No stars. So we get a 15-man Cruiserweight Battle Royal in which the winner will face Chris Jericho for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship immediately following the match. Now this Battle Royal, I gave 2.5 stars to because this Battle Royal and the next match is probably combined one of the most historic moments in WCW history. Basically, this Battle Royal comes down to 4 guys. Cicolpe, Kidman, Juventud, Guerrera, and Psychosis. And after Psychosis and Kidman are eliminated, Juvi eliminates himself, Cicolpe unmasked, and it turns out that Cicolpe is Dean Malenko. Now, the crowd popped hard for this. This is probably the loudest pop Dean Malenko has ever received in his entire career. And that led into a WCW Cruiserweight Championship match. Chris Jericho versus Dean Malenko, which is 3 stars. Malenko and Jericho is the first ever storyline done for the Cruiserweight title. Because the Cruiserweight Championship was not known for storyline up until this point. Now it's the only one I ever did a storyline involving the Cruiserweight Championship ultimately. But that whole thing is a highlight of this show. The Cruiserweight Battle Royal and this Cruiserweight Championship match. Cruiserweight Battle Royal 2.5 stars. Even if they had it be pinfall or leave the ring, you're eliminated. But luckily all the eliminations were over the top rope, so they weren't that dumb. If you're interested, Marty Jannetty is in that Cruiserweight Battle Royal. So a Marty Jannetty sighting in WCW. Finish to Jericho and Malenko comes, and Malenko puts him in the Texas Cloverleaf. Jericho tries to get to the ropes, Malenko pulls him back, and then Jericho taps out, and Malenko wins the Cruiserweight title. However, he would be stripped of the title the next night. Because Dean Malenko was not an official participant in the Cruiserweight Battle Royal, and Jericho found a loophole in that. That led to a match at the Great American Bash in '98, which was for the vacated Cruiserweight Championship. Or something. So then we get a Bowery death match, which is basically a last man standing match in a cage, because the only way to win is to not answer the referee's 10 count. As it's Diamond Dallas Page versus Raven. 2 stars here. Not Page and Raven's best match. I think they had better. I think their match with Spring Stampede is actually slightly better than this. It's a good match, but it primarily, after Page wins, it primarily just advances the whole Canyon and Raven rivalry, which then turned into a Canyon-Raven alliance. The finishing sequence is Raven hits a diamond cutter, and DDP hits a diamond cutter. Not on anything, just a normal diamond cutter. Kind of defeats the purpose of this match. Why not just have it be a pinfall if a normal diamond cutter wins? Because he didn't diamond cut him on top of something or through the cage or anything like that, or on top of the cage. It was just a normal diamond cutter. And that got DDP the win. 2 stars. If there was something more creative in that finish, it probably would have been a tad bit higher. So then we get Eddie Guerrero versus Ultimo Dragon in what I believe is Ultimo Dragon's final WCW pay-per-view appearance. I'm not sure if it's his final appearance in WCW, but I know it's his final pay-per-view appearance. If Ultimo Dragon won, Chavo Guerrero would be free from Eddie Guerrero. This is an okay match. It's 1.5 stars, but it could have been better. Finish comes, Ultimo Dragon accidentally knocks Chavo off the apron. Eddie hits a brain buster, then hits the frog splash, and gets the win. And all this set up the Eddie and Chavo feud over the summer, or at least for the next 2 pay-per-views. So then we get a WCW United States Championship match that was meant to be Goldberg versus the Flock in a gauntlet match, but Saturn didn't want a gauntlet match. So it's Goldberg versus Saturn. 2 stars. Their match of Spring Stampede is actually slightly better due to the finish in that match, because it actually had the most innovative jackhammer Goldberg ever did when he did a jackhammer out of the rings of Saturn. So, finish comes, Saturn goes to springboard off a chair, Goldberg heads into a spear, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3, and retains the U.S. Championship. A title that he technically never even lost, so, because he ended up, right before Bash at the Beach, becoming a WCW champion, and basically, he just relinquished the U.S. title, and it went up, I believe, in a tournament or something like that. I don't remember how they crowned a U.S. champion after that. So then we get a match that is not a match at all, and WCW knew was not going to be a match at all, but still promoted it as such. Eric Bischoff versus Vince McMahon. Vince did not show up. Okay, everyone knew Vince was not going to show up. Even Bischoff knew Vince was not going to show up, but he still trotted himself out here, had Michael Buffer announce Vince McMahon, had the bell ring so he can get a count-out victory over Vince McMahon, even though he knew he was never going to show up. Bischoff did this as a publicity stunt because he was hoping that somehow WWE, that Vince would mention it the next night on Raw, and get people tuned in to WCW or something like that, but really it didn't. Whatever this was trying to do, it failed, and Bischoff knew that this was not even going to happen anyway, so it's no stars because it's not even a match, and I refuse to really rate it as a match, because it's not. They technically count it as a match, but they shouldn't. So then we get one of our 2 main events, Bret Hart versus the Macho Man Randy Savage, with guest referee Roddy Piper. 2.5 star match, not a bad match. Savage had a massive knee injury, so I think that really hurt what could have happened in this match. Savage had been working with a knee injury since, like, Uncensored or something like that. He had a knee injury for quite a while before he actually took time off, and then right after Great American Bash, and didn't show back up until Spring Stampede of '99. Finish comes, Hart hits Piper with some illegal object, which Savage gets. Savage hits Hart with it. Hogan comes out. He's not even booked on this card, even though he's the world champion for some dumb reason. And Hogan takes Savage's good knee out, and then Hart locks in the sharpshooter. Piper sees Savage with the illegal object, thinks Savage hit him, takes the illegal object off. Savage ends up submitting, and Piper gets the win. Now, all this set up a tag match for Great American Bash. Bret Hart and Hulk Hogan versus Piper and Savage, and it also set up Piper versus Savage, which was taking place after that match. I'll get to that in the Great American Bash review series. 2.5 stars this. So then we get the WCW World Tag Team Championship match. Yes, the main event here is for the WCW Tag Team Championship, as it's the Outsiders versus Sting and the Giant. This is Scott Hall's first appearance since right after Uncensored, when he lost to Sting for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, which I might review the other Uncensored as retro reviews down the line. I'm not sure, but this is an okay tag match, 3.5 stars. Scott Hall turns on Kevin Nash for some dumb reason, and then it allows Sting and the Giant to win the match and the tag titles, and then Sting had to make a choice. to stay with WCW or go to the NWO. He chose the NWO, but he chose the NWO Wolfpack, and then Sting and the Giant had a match at the Great American Bash to determine the tag team champions, because whoever won would get to pick his partner. So, out of a possible 50 stars, this is 16.5, which puts it at C- territory. Probably the best, one of the better Slamborees, but then again, 1998 was a fairly good year on pay-per-view for WCW. So that's it for this episode of the Slams of May. The next episode of the Slams of May, which will be uploaded either tomorrow or Friday, will be Judgment Day 2002 from the WWE. The second name change, the second big reason for the name change. So if you like, this will be in the Slam of May playlist. If you like the video, like button's down there, subscribe button's down there, and thank you for watching. Bye.